Hello peeps, welcome to another video. The PvP tunings have arrived. Please disregard the video I made a few days ago where are they, they are here. As usual, we got some BG eye candy in the back while we discuss the changes. I won't be going over every single detail, but you're welcome to pause and read thoroughly. So, PvP changes first. Druids get a little rebalancing slash nerfs, mostly aimed at Resto. Frost and Fire Mage getting some damage buffs. Monk Mistweaver adjustments. Holy Paladins getting a small nerf. Priests, a plethora of buffs aimed at the healing specs, mainly Disco Priest. I know my Disco buddy is very happy about this, telling me funny stuff like a priest will be able to top me off now. I don't know if I believe that. Rogues, outflow eating a PvE and a PvP buff, losing HP on a talent. And a nerf to an addition they're getting on Killing Spree. Now Shamans, the most controversial class for me if you've watched my Enhanced Rants. And actually a small buff towards Enhance in form of a Healing Surge buff. Was this an accident? I don't know, I think so, because healing is not what the class really needs, but beggars can't be choosers. Elemental PvE buffs that will get a bit countered later, so don't worry, they're not simply buffing elemental damage, that would be absolutely insane. Resto getting some healing buffs and damage buffs, again aimed at PvE mostly. Warlocks getting a little buff, some tunings for Mythic Plus performance for Demonology, and a little buff for Affliction. Now Warriors, this actually scares me quite a bit, mega buffs on damage for both Fury and Arms. More for Fury, Arms is getting mainly their AoE damage buff. These don't seem to be impactful, of course, in PvP as much as in PvE. The Fury buffs are basically all single target and will have a huge impact on PvP, sustained and burst damage. Although Fury survivability still might be on the weaker side, as I don't see any adjustments being made there, this will definitely make them a lot stronger without their CDs and with the CDs. We finally get to the PvP changes, and the first change impacting all classes is that the Trinket set bonus is getting a rebalance to give more HP and less damage overall. In my opinion, this is a good change. I actually think damage is quite high, and going towards, and since also dampening is quite high, I think going towards a little bit less damage might be, I think, overall healthier, making the game a lot, less bursty. Death Knights, oh boy, let's go. An overall nerf, but I think a healthy one. The class is getting its passive defense effects tuned down, while lifting one of the nerfs on Deathstrike. I think this is healthier overall. How I think Death Knights should operate is that they should be like a vampire class. Like they should, in my opinion, they should fully unleash Deathstrike healing, and they should just kind of be a class that a large portion of its survivability comes from its ability to heal back damage. There's also, of course, some damage nerfs that are justified, of course, as Unholy just gets to do a lot of free pressure with their diseases. Druids, oh yes! Feral, a plethora of nerfs on their bleeds. I mean, have you been in an arena match where a Feral wasn't the top DPS? I mean, this is like very deserved. The only worrying thing is that it might impact their single target quite a bit, so I'm not sure how good Feral is gonna be in like 2s, but I think still in 3s it's gonna be amazing. Balance getting some love, as it's not doing the best damage in arenas. Resto and Feral also getting some of their survivability impacted. I'm not sure these are going to affect the good players as much as bad players who relied on frenzied regeneration instead of the class's inherent mobility and trickiness. So I'm just not sure how much better Druid players care about this. Evokers getting a bit of a rebalance. Devastation is getting a nerf on its burst, but getting another sustained damage buff. Still nothing defensive-wise, making the class still a melee killer specifically, in my opinion. Preservation is having one of its heals become dispellable. I'm not a big healer, guys, so I'm not sure how big this is just going to be. Actually purging the heals, so we'll see. I do play a lot of purge classes, so for me it's, I guess, a good change. Hunters getting a small buff on their Roar of Sacrifice, making it less likely for their pets to die while the effect is up. Arcane Mages eating a little nerf on their Execute effect. Another Mistweaver adjustment, a little buff, a little nerf. But oh my god, Paladin not just getting some love, but I feel like in the right direction. Divine Protection getting an increase, making it a decent wall finally. Flash of Light healing increased. Hour of Reckoning changed to not be as frequent. Consecration, a big buff in PvP, but honestly I don't think you'll still see Consecration builds. But definitely gonna feel a lot better to press. Holy, some adjustments, little nerfs, but healing buffs. Again, I'm not a big healer guy, so I don't feel comfortable giving my opinion on how much this is gonna, you know, affect the class. Retribution, so basically burst nerfs, which I mean are absolutely needed, but also healing and sustaining damage buffs. And an interesting buff on Exorcism, I mean 80%, definitely gonna be some kind of a build around Exorcism now. Overall positive changes, it will shift the build around significantly, but I think Rats are going to be in a good spot now, with their healing and defenses being buffed. Now we come to Shamans, the most infuriating for me personally, since there's absolutely no change for Enhance. Unleashed Shield getting adjusted, as it should. Right now it's insane how it works, especially on maps with elevation. Rest eating some nerfs, in my opinion the Water Shield and Stormkeeper are fine. The healing nerfs are there, I guess, to counteract the PvE changes. Elemental is having its 2-set gutted in PvP and Primordial Lava Surges. Overall, I think Elemental is still going to be pumping. I think the biggest nerfs to them comes in the nerf of the Unleashed Shield. And honestly justified, like Unleashed Shield is just insane on certain maps. Overall the most disappointing to me, since basically Enhance accidentally gets a small buffs to heals. You know, this might make you able to skip some healing talents, but I think you will still be using as much healing globals as before, making probably still Storm Strike build the best. Thing is, there's no way you're skipping Swelling Waves and Refreshing Waters. They're your biggest healing modifier still. So ultimately, I don't know, the class is still gonna be, I think, in a difficult position. And last but not least, Warriors. Overall buffs, main one being that Slaughterhouse now lasts 16 seconds, giving ample time to Fury to stack it up and also to have the effect stacked up. We will see how good it's going to be once it's live, really. To sum it up, really good tunings this week. A lot of overperforming and underperforming specs are being adjusted. As usual, Enhancements is completely forgotten, getting an accidental buff in my opinion. It will barely impact it. The problem is that you still have so many healing talents and you basically are still forced into, you know, taking them. Basically, big question is, will you be able to skip certain healing talents that are extremely powerful like Swelling Waves, or are we still locked into them? So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever the YouTubers want you to do, and have a good day.